All right, we are live. Guys, we have a score to settle tonight. So, not too long ago, I put out a video talking about a handful of stocks that you should just avoid at all costs. And at one point in the video, I'm talking about this one stock that pays a monthly dividend. I said that, it really doesn't make a difference whether you buy a stock that pays a monthly dividend or it pays on a quarterly basis. Really, at the end of the day, it's all the same, and it makes a very negligible difference in your portfolio, the frequency of payments. And after saying that, guys, I got a little bit of a pushback in the comment section. I was getting comments like this one there at the top from Kim: of course it matters when you get paid. You can reinvest it faster. Or this next one that said, all things constant, monthly payouts do matter versus quarterly payouts over time. That's the power of compounding that any simple calculator can show you. Or this last one from Kevin that says, one small point: I believe the frequency of dividend payouts is relevant when we consider the fact that time has an opportunity cost. And so, fair points, guys, but in this video, we're going to settle the score, like I said, once and for all. And I'm just going to show you, we're going to go through a demonstration to show you why it really doesn't matter whether a stock pays monthly or quarterly. I think it's something that people get hung up on quite often, too often, and I want to show you guys the way, show you guys the light. But before we get to all of that, welcome to another Dividend Happy Hour. I'm stoked to see you guys all here. There's about 40 of us in the stream so far. Tonight, guys, I'm actually having a beer. This is a peanut butter stout by Lead Dog or Lead Dog Brewing out of Sparks, Nevada here, and it's pretty decent. It's got you can definitely taste the peanut butter in it, and it's been a while since I've had a beer, I'm not going to lie, but typically when I do drink beer, I am a stout guy. I gravitate towards the stouts, which people always think is weird, but I don't know. I love these stouts. So I think a cheers is in order in honor of the Dividend Happy Hour, guys. So here's to a good week on the stock market. I don't know about you guys, but my portfolio is currently sitting at like an all-time high. Not in terms of like unrealized gain percentage, but just market value. My portfolio, this is the highest I've ever seen it. And it's bittersweet, but it does feel good. So here's to a good week on the market. And, with that, actually, let me know what you guys bought. I'd be curious to hear what you picked up and what's going on in your portfolios this week. So let me know in the live chat after we do this cheers, and let me know in the comments below if you're watching the replay. But cheers first. Take a swig. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. One more. That was too good. Okay. Now, while you guys are submitting, what you bought or what's going on in your portfolio this week, I want to give a quick shout out over here. Let's go over to the screen. I want to give a quick shout out to David, who just hit $8,000 in annual dividend income, which is crazy. I don't know the math on that off the top of my head, but what is that, guys? That's quite a bit of money coming in every single month on average. What is that? I don't know. I don't know why I can't do that math right now. But hey, congratulations, David. Keep up the good work. Man, I'll be so stoked to get to that point. 8,000 in annual dividend income seems so far away, but when you crunch the numbers, like at this rate, I think it probably honestly might take another 5 years to get there, which is maybe less actually. Excuse me, and that's not a whole long time at all. So now, before we move on and get into the main event, guys, I want to see what's going on in your guys' portfolio, see what you guys bought this week. So let me put some up on the screen, and also just give some shout outs to all you guys here. What's up, Harris? I see Caleb, Shamir, Jim, Charles, Chris, Mountain High, the usual suspects. You guys, old reliables. Colin, Steve, Michael, Coyote, Dividendology, Pat. The gang is all here tonight. Man, thank you guys so much for showing up. Let's see here. So as far as purchases, Will says, no purchases here this week, still heavy research mode. Will, let us know what you've been looking at. Any good stocks? I see Bob here in the live stream. Welcome, Bob. Joey. What's up, Joey? Jay, what's going on? Another Jay stocked. Jay picked up some SCHD, WSM, BBY, and MO Altria Group. Some good pickups right there. Williams Sonoma, Best Buy, Altria Group. Love that. Caleb picked up some T. Rowe Price this week. Nice. Yeah, T. Rowe's had a nice run up recently. That's great. Jay picked up some AMD, O, and MO. Some Realty Income and Altria Group. Nice stuff, man. Nice stuff. Chris here, he bought nothing in dividends. He's just trading right now and stacking up his cash. He's waiting for the big dips. Yeah, we've kind of been moving in the opposite direction lately, but And it's very bittersweet, like I said, but, it feels good to see your stocks doing good every now and again. Lowe's jumped up for me big time, guys. I think in the last month it's up, gosh, it might have been like 12%, 13%. I don't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, Bob picked up some Target. Yeah, good pickup. Nice, Bob. Pat bought some ARCC and SCHD. Caitlin picked up some ATKR. Have not heard of that stock, probably because it does not pay dividend. Those typically fly over my head. Nice, Caitlin. Charles picked up some NYCB, Altria, and ORCC. Nice pickup with Owl Rock. Nice. I bought some of that last week. Peter picked up some Realty Income, Gain, ARR, and Kevin picked up some Altria. Guys, I see some good purchases in here. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead to these now. I think we'll be here all night if we go through all the purchases. But guys, great job. I see a lot of Realty Income. I see some SCHD, some Best Buy. Altria Group was a popular one this week, it looked like. So good for you guys, like increasing that cash flow. That's fantastic. I'm going to take just one more drink of this, and let's get into what we really came here to see, right? Monthly versus quarterly. So just kind of a little more backstory before we go through the demonstration, which is super quick and easy. It seemed to me like I probably got 5 or 6 different comments just kind of refuting and saying that, monthly dividends are the way, and it's gonna be a game changer for your portfolio. And it seemed like the common argument was basically people saying monthly dividends are more optimal because you're getting paid more frequently, which is true. You're getting paid more frequently, therefore you can deploy that money more quickly, put it to work more quickly, which should help you buy, more shares of stock when reinvested quicker, therefore increasing your income faster, which over a long period of time will have, kind of accelerate the snowball effect, if you will. That seemed to be the common argument that people were making on the subject. And I don't know, guys, it just doesn't work like that. I totally get it, but at the end of the day, if we're talking you're getting $12 in dividends every single year, it's either $1 per month or it's $3 a quarter. The dollar amount it's the same regardless of when you get it. And yeah, just when reinvested, guys, over a long period of time, it still doesn't make a big difference. And that's what we're looking at here. So we're going to go back over to this right here. This is the marketbeat.com dividend calculator, a really nifty tool that I use from time to time. It's really fun too, just to go in and plug numbers. But what you can do is put in, a set of criteria and forecast how much dividend income you'll be making in the future, as well as what your portfolio value might be, all that good stuff. So you can basically project the growth of your portfolio over, however many years you choose. And in this demonstration, guys, I've set it up 2 different ways. Like, all the variables are the same here with the exception of the distribution frequency. So in this first one here, we have a quarterly distribution, and then in this other one here, we have a monthly distribution. But just going back and forth between these a couple more times, you can see that all other variables are the same. Same starting principal, same annual contribution, same dividend tax rate right here, same initial dividend yield, same dividend growth, share price appreciation, and years invested. Everything here is the same. And I think I've already hit calculate dividends, but maybe I'll do it again just to be safe. So now, guys, let's just scroll down and see what the difference here is going to be. After the end of the 30 years with the quarterly dividends, investing $100 a month, $10,000 initial investment, we'll be bringing in $9,320 in dividend income in that 30th year, and the portfolio will be valued at almost $38,000. Okay, so remember that. 9.3K, $338,000 for the portfolio value. Now let's go over to the monthly, right? And scroll all the way down to the bottom and see what this difference is going to be right here. So, guys, we can see it's more or less the same. $9,300, okay, dividend income, and about just over $338,000. So that's the main difference, right? Is the market value. So with quarterly payments just under $338K, with monthly payments just over $338K. Like, the difference across a 30-year period is just $100 or a few $100s, like $500 at most. So you can plug in any numbers you want as long as the variables are the same between the the A and the B test, with the exception of the payment frequency. That will just paint the picture for you. And yeah, it doesn't make a difference, guys, as you can see. But I think this is important to hone in on, because at times, and I might go on a little rant here, guys, so forgive me if I do, but a lot of times, especially newer investors, they get hung up on the payment frequencies and see, oh, well, monthly payments, that's got to be better, getting more payments, collecting that. And I understand that for sure. Like that's definitely something that can reel you in. But when you crunch the numbers, it doesn't make a big difference. And ultimately, I think in the case of some of these stocks, the monthly dividend is just like kind of a marketing gimmick to try and get you to buy. And in the context of where this all started in that video, I was basically comparing SPHD, which is a monthly dividend paying ETF, with SCHD, a quarterly paying ETF. But, SCHD pretty much outperformed this other one, SPHD, like in every way, from dividend stats like dividend growth history, share price performance, total return across all time periods. The latter definitely had the advantage, but people still opt for the one paying the monthly dividend because they can collect that dividend every month. And I don't know, I think it's a mistake. And I think if you go out of your way to look for payment frequencies, that's just not the right thing to look for when you're considering long-term investments, in my opinion. And that was the point I was trying to hone in on. So that's pretty much my whole spiel. And I know we went through that pretty quickly, but guys, that was pretty much all I wanted to share with you. And I hope that made sense too. And let me know in the live chat if you guys have any thoughts on the matter, or in the comments below if you're watching the replay, because as I've learned after that video, it can be kind of a touchy subject, I guess. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and maybe there's something I'm missing here. And if that's the case, like let me know, let me know in the live chat. So, oh gosh, not here. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, I apologize in advance. We're seeing some spam in the live chat. Oh my gosh. I've never had that on these live streams before. I'm surprised that, I guess it had to happen sooner or later. And I see some of you guys sharing your thoughts on the live chat about this whole ordeal. Caitlin here says, monthly versus quarterly mostly comes down to how skillful a capital allocator you are. If you generate really strong return on invested capital, then monthly will start to seriously outpace the rest over time. Sure, but in assuming that like most of the people are just reinvesting the dividends back into the positions from which they came, then it's like that kind of negates that point. But that is a good point. But yeah, ultimately, like you said here, sacrificing quality and growth to get monthly over quarterly is folly. She used the F word, guys. Wow, that's a big deal. Chris here, this actually is a good point too. Monthly matters if you're using it as income. That's one other thing I've heard. So if you're someone who's retired, it's going to be easier, I guess, to account for payments coming in every month. A steady monthly income, I guess, versus having it quarterly or having it, higher some months, lower some months. That makes sense. But still, like at the end of the year, it's like it's going to be the same amount of income. And what the point I'm trying to make overall is what it does to your portfolio. The difference is negligible. It's not even worth looking at. But yeah, some people prefer to, like if you're retired and using that to pay your bills, some people like seeing that every month, and it's harder to account on a quarterly basis. DC says he thinks a mix of monthly and quarterly is good. Yeah, why not? Inherently, if you're a dividend investor over time, you're inherently going to end up owning both in your portfolio. I mean, especially if you're like most investors and you at least buy realty income, well, that's your monthly payer right there. And most people have that, so they've got that exposure to the monthly payments. But yeah, and this is what Bob said right here. Getting close to retirement, some monthly payments help smooth out each month. Yeah, but still, it's a preferential thing in terms of performance. Once again, doesn't do anything. I don't know what that sound was. Sorry, guys. And then after this, I'll go back up to the top and we'll go through some more comments. See what I missed there. So let's see. Charles here says, I want money. It doesn't matter when it comes. Yeah. I mean, preferably like the more the merrier, and the more frequent the merrier. But if it's all the same in value, it's all the same. Let's see here. I see some really good comments. I'm excited to come back to these. Let's see here. Yeah, splitting hairs. Exactly. Well said, Caitlin. As per usual. Jeff, roll the dividends and let it ride. I like that. Well said. Joey here says, does dividend investing daily versus monthly make a difference? See, not even that doesn't even make a difference. I think this question's like, if does it matter whether let's say you're investing $70 every single week. Well, no, let's do $50 because the market's only open 5 days. You're investing $50 every single week. Does it matter if you do $10 a day? Or just $50 on one of those days every single week? It's really all the same, and there's some months where, you might have a slight advantage because you could do $10 here. The next day, the market could go down, so your $10 will go a little farther. And then the next day, it could go down even more, so your $10 can go farther. So if the market's going down, then, if the market's going down, then it's actually it would actually be better to have less frequent if it's just continually going straight down, because then the days that you don't buy, you'll be able to invest more the day after, or the days after, when it's even lower. I don't know if that's gibberish or if that makes sense, but it's splitting hairs. That's still like, just don't even worry about it. Like, whatever you'd rather do. If you like being in the habit of buying every single day, then do that. But if you're like, no, I'm good, I'll just do it once a week, or I'll just do it once a month, then that's fine too. Consistency really is the important thing. Like, the frequency that you buy doesn't matter as long as you're doing it regularly. So if you like buying daily, go for that. You like buying weekly, go for that. You like buying monthly, do that as well. Whatever your preference. Okay, this is actually some good insight. So Jim here, who is retired, has annual, monthly, and quarterly dividends. His monthly payments are between $750 to $1,500 per month. Nice. That's awesome. And then by manually investing his dividends, the gap in payments tends to balance out. So, okay, cool. So what Jim is saying, just his approach over time, the payments are becoming more consistent over, every single month, or steady. Like, the payments are more in line. There's not a lot of high and then low months, and it's all kind of leveling out, which is cool. That's awesome. Let's see here. This is funny. Citizen of the Year says, I am a dividend investor. Hear me roar. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound. It's just my email thing in the background. Sorry about that. I'm actually going to mute that. You guys, I think you can still hear me there, right? Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I see some other comments too, just on different subjects. Guys, I'll come back to this. I'll come back to some of these comments. I'm still sticking to the main monthly versus quarterly ordeal. Let's see. I think there's one more here. Kevin says, it's also a matter of discipline. I get paid monthly and blow the nut on payday, but I also reinvest the dividends when I get them. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I think, guys, I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. We kind of blew through that really quick, but it's about 5:20. We're going to go for the full hour tonight, stop at about 6 o'clock, and, I guess we'll hang out for about 45 minutes and see where this goes. So the first question I got here, this was before the stream even started. Pat got it in early. Good evening, Ryan. What is short interest? It's usually right under the yield on Seeking Alpha. I actually don't really know what short interest is. Let's go, I've never looked at it, but let's go take a look. It has something to do with like how many people are shorting a stock, I would imagine. So where did you say it is? Right under the yield on seekingalpha.com. Yeah, right there on the front page. So this might take a minute to load. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Seeking Alpha has been kind of slow to load lately. But let's go take a look at Apple and see if it'll tell us what the interest yield is, or short interest is. So short interest, Pat, is the percentage of share float that has been sold short but has not yet been covered or closed out. Short interest is an indicator of market sentiment. Extremely high short interest shows investors are very pessimistic. So, and I don't know if this is a high short interest or not, 0.65%. I would imagine that's not very high. Yeah, so honestly, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the short interest when doing a deep dive on dividend stocks. I don't think that'll help you too much in your long-term thesis. It more so has to do with how many people are shorting a stock, which therefore is indicative of just the general sentiment around the stock. So this makes sense. If the short interest is high, there's more people shorting the stock, which means that there's more people expecting the stock to not do as well. So, I guess just an interesting thing to look at, but I don't know what else you do with that information. Let's see here. Good question, though. I've never looked at that before. And that's another cool thing, too. So going back to Seeking Alpha, and I'm sure you guys already know this, a lot of you guys use this platform, but for most of these things, like these terms, if you just hover over it, it'll actually pull up a little blurb and describe what it is. Like we can go down to the market cap, it'll tell us what the market cap is or the volume. We could even go to the financial statements right here and it'll tell us what a lot of these metrics are. So not every single one, but only some. Like selling general and admin expenses, it'll tell us. If we hover over gross profit, it'll tell us, operating income. So Seeking Alpha, just a really great resource all around to help you learn the ropes, guys. I always say this, but I've learned so much just from using this platform, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone. I've been using the premium version for a long time, and yeah, it's been super nice. You guys hear me talk about having access to the free articles and the analyses and the news and transcripts and stuff, and that's all been helpful. Love that. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Really good question, actually. Harris says, I get an A+ for my suicidal tendencies shirt. Thank you, man. Have to represent. Not crazy. Okay, so Jay, I'll finally get your question. I've seen you ask it a few times tonight, man. So annually, $100. Is it good? Yeah, that's great, man. That's a great place to, that's a great milestone. That's like a great first milestone. 3 figures in annual dividend income. Great job, man. And the next one too is soon after this, you'll hit $120 in annual dividend income, which means you're averaging $10 of dividends every single month. That's crazy for the rest of your life. That's basically, you could get yourself you could go to Starbucks, get yourself a latte and maybe a chocolate croissant every month. Once a month, your little treat for the rest of your life if your dividends didn't grow any more from there. So yeah, good stuff, man. Jeez, you asked the question. I see that. Really blew up the live chat with that question, huh? Let's see. What else we got? Take another sip here. Let's see. Okay, so here's another question from PTCG Trader. Can you explain the whole pairing stocks? For example, SCHD and DGRO. I'm really new and been looking on Reddit for info. So I'm guessing, and we'll take a deeper look in just a second, but I'm guessing that in this context, comparing these two ETFs or pairing these two ETFs, if we look at the top 10 holdings of both of these, I would imagine we'll see that they're not the same, meaning if we own both of these ETFs, we'll be able to have just a more broad and diverse exposure to different stocks compared to if we just had one. And so maybe there's not a lot of overlap in the holdings between these two ETFs. And maybe that's what the whole, maybe what you're asking in terms of pairing stocks. But let's go take a look real quick. SCHD, we'll open another tab here for DGRO. Good question. And let's go take a look at the holdings real quick. Pull these up. And let's scroll down here, see what we got. So comparing the top 10 holdings, SCHD, we've got Merck, Amgen, IBM, Pepsi, Lockheed Martin, Cisco, Pfizer, Home Depot, Texas Instruments, and Coca-Cola. And in total, there's 103 different holdings. Now, comparing that to the top 10 of DGRO, we can actually see a decent amount of overlap, right? So Pfizer's in both of the top 10s. I think Procter & Gamble was, right? No Procter & Gamble. So Pfizer, we have Merck, Home Depot, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 50% of this ETF's top 10 holdings are also the top 10 holdings of SCHD. And likely there's going to be more overlap. And, looking down here, SCHD has just over 100 holdings. DGRO is more diverse with 417 different holdings. So it may not be the best idea to pair these because the holdings are somewhat similar, at least the top 10 are. But comparing the dividend stats real quick, let's see how that differs, because maybe that will tell us something else too. So, not really. Yeah, not really. SCHD seems to outperform, or seems to outshine DGRO in terms of dividend stats. But DGRO is not looking too bad. The yield is lower, certainly, compared to SCHD, but they have a pretty equally impressive 5-year growth rate and a nice dividend growth history, 7 straight years compared to SCHD's 9 and 12% growth rate. So not too far off there. So yeah, I don't know if pairing these two ETFs would be the best idea. Maybe you guys in the live chat or in the comments below would have some more insight on that. But, I don't know. I personally would choose one over the other. And if diversification is a concern to you as well, like you think, well, DGRO has 400 holdings, maybe I'd better go with that because there's more diversification. Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, with SCHD, 100 holdings is not nothing, right? Like that's still pretty well diversified. So, I think you'd be fine putting your eggs in either basket, personally. Hopefully that helps and kind of somewhat answers your question. Let's see here. Okay, Shamir wants to know, what are your thoughts on Post? Anyone here have that in your portfolio? I've never looked at it, but let's go take a look real quick. Is this USPS or what is this? Post Holdings. Okay, no. Oh, it doesn't pay a dividend. Let's just look at the financials. I'm not going to give it too deep of a look. So, pretty stagnant growth, at least since like 2018. Maybe even before then, since 2016. Tell us anything else here. Earnings per share don't look to be doing anything good consistently. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna say I don't know about this one, Shamir. What do you think about Post? Like what do you see in this bad boy? Eric's loading up on some TSN chicken nuggets. Nice, man. I've got some of those in my freezer right now. And just so you guys know too, I'm about halfway through this bad boy, and depending on what time we get done, I got a backup right here. Came prepared tonight. This tastes good. Like I'm happy to be drinking a stout. I wish it was in a bottle though. There's just something about drinking them out of bottles that to me is cooler. Let's see. You can avoid don't dripping the dividends. You guys are ripping Russ for for that spam we saw a few minutes ago. That's funny. Too good. Okay, let's see. Sorry guys, I think I got a little bit behind in the live chat. Okay, so let's find another question. Okay. Okay, so I actually do want to try and explain this. This goes back to the monthly versus quarterly debate. And I tried explaining it a few moments ago. Let me try again. So, okay. Doesn't matter since share price goes up and down. Okay, so if you're buying, let's say you're buying, not. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer this the best, but let's use it in context of in terms of like buying stock. So if you're buying every single day and the market's going down, that's fine. Every single day you are getting stocks cheaper than the day before. This is just super hypothetical, right? Market's going down continually. But let's say that you decide just to buy it once a week. The market's still going down over a period of weeks. Those days that if you're buying daily and the market's going down, you would have been better off not deploying that capital every single day and instead just doing it on a more infrequent basis, because then you'll be able to better capitalize and deploy more capital when share prices are increasingly lower than they otherwise would be if you were buying every day. Does that make sense? So let's say on Monday the market's down, okay, you buy. Tuesday the market's down again, you buy. Wednesday the market's down even further, you buy. Thursday it's down even more, you buy. Friday, same story, okay? But now let's say you're buying just once a week. Okay, Monday the market's down, you don't buy. Tuesday it's down, you don't buy, okay? All the way through Friday. Friday's the day you buy, where it's at its lowest all throughout the week. So the capital you're deploying is going to go farther because you didn't spend it those previous 4 days when stock prices were more expensive. Does that make sense? Now, on the other hand, it would be better to buy more frequently or get more frequent dividend payments to reinvest more frequently if the market's continuously going up, because and just, in perpetuity going up. Because at that point, if you're buying daily, sure, it's going up, but at least by the end of the week, you're not dumping all of that money when stocks are at their most expensive point in the week. Does that make sense? That's the best way that I can explain it, and I hope I did that justice, because that was tough for me to get out, apparently. So anyway, really good question, and this is like I think this is a really important point to hone in on. But really, like, ultimately, these hypothetical scenarios are not gonna. You guys know how it goes. Some days the market's gonna be up, some days it's gonna be down. So it's like, don't even worry about that. Trying to optimize that, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. At the end of the day, just like pick when you want to buy, whether it is every day, whether it is every month, or whether it's every week. Just pick some sort of consistent routine and stick to that. Like, that's really the only important thing about this. Don't make it too complicated. Don't miss the forest for the trees here. Anyway, I've got a question for you guys too. Once we get caught up on these comments, which I want to breeze through, I've got something for you guys, and I want to know. I'm just going to ask it right now and then zoom. Okay, I'm just going to ask it right now. Then we're going to zoom ahead in the live chat and catch up, guys. Serious. So, what do you think about all of this FTX stuff? Now, primarily in terms of the creators who've been promoting it, what are your thoughts on this? I'm kind of on the fence here, and I'll explain that when we get to it. But I want to see what you guys have to say about this matter. So let me know in the live chat, and also let me know in the comments below. Okay. Oh yeah, Shamir, thank you so much. Don't forget to smash the living daylights out of the thumbs up button, guys. Please do it. Please do it. Do it. Okay. Yeah, Jay, good point. So going back to just Seeking Alpha showing definitions of the different terms and stuff like that. Investopedia is another fantastic resource. You can learn a lot from Investopedia. Really, really awesome website. Let's see. Oh, Shamir. So did you get your red cup from Starbucks? No, I have not. I got one last year. Man, I actually haven't been to Starbucks for, I haven't been to Starbucks for a little while. I went to it's kind of random, but I went to the coffee bean the other day, which was actually pretty good. When I was sick, I got like a nice wellness tea from them. Still a little bit congested. You might be able to hear it in my voice, but overall, we're better though. Poke DJ, thank you, man. Whenever you have the chance, let's show some love by pressing that like button. You guys, too good to me. You guys are too good to me. Coyote sunglasses, those banana coladas turned out really good. Cheers, chat. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that in the live chat. That sounded really good. That's great. Okay. Let's see here. This is a good question. So Ricardo wants to know, in terms of holding, how would one determine the amount of stocks to hold in their dividend account? I have SCHD for my IRA, but I'm struggling to figure out how many stocks is too much in the dividend portfolio. So, man, this is just one of those preferential things. Like, everyone's got a different number for this. In a sense, you kind of just have to feel out how much diversification is, you feel is necessary for yourself. Some people like having a lot of stocks in their portfolio, like 40, 50, 60. There's even people probably in this stream who have 100 different stocks in their portfolio. For me personally, that's too much. For me, I have, I think, 23 different holdings right now, and I even feel like that's a little bit too much just to keep track of. And, I've been trying to make more of an effort to actually go through the earnings calls and really stay up to date with my stocks as best I can. And I don't do it with every single one quite yet. I'd say I do it with most. But, yeah, I think it just comes back to how many can you keep track of. And, Ricardo, if you're just starting out, like, I think probably the best approach would be to do what you're doing. Like, you have SCHD as kind of your base, and then maybe just slowly start to expand from there. If you want to get into individual stocks, maybe pick a couple of them, maybe pick 2 or 3 that you really like, and use those as kind of your your way of expanding beyond just that one ETF, which is a great one to own, SCHD. But that would be my, I don't know, like that's how I personally would go about it. If I could go back and start my portfolio all over again, that's probably how I would have done it. Just choose an ETF and then slowly but surely start building out positions around that. I think that'll help you, especially if you're choosing stocks you're interested in. That will help you, stay engaged with what you're doing, and also it'll make it more fun, I think, to learn the ropes of how to then go and research the companies and kind of dig deeper into the weeds. So I think that would be choosing stocks that you're familiar with and the company pretty well, at least what they do. I think that would be a good place to start when diving deeper into stocks that you want to research or try learning how to research on, if that makes sense. Okay. Good question from Mountain High right here. The S&P is currently at 17.5 earnings, and companies will continue to cut their guidance for the next quarter or two. Do you have any thoughts on how much more the market could fall? I mean, not really, man. Like, that thing is a mystery. Surprising me every day. I didn't at this point expect to see my portfolio going up. I thought for sure, and I still think we are. I thought for sure it'd be continuing to go deeper into the red, and I think it will. Like, I think stocks will come back down. I saw something is kind of interesting. I saw something. Nolan, Professor G, posted a community post, I think today or yesterday, and it was a screenshot. Let me see if I can actually pull it up real quick, guys, because it was pretty interesting and relevant to what we're talking about here. So let's go here, over on YouTube, Professor G. Oops, I just typed that wrong. Professor G. There he is, the one and only. Okay, so go over to the community tab right here. This right here, can you guys see that? Yeah, so the S&P 500 index erased all its gains, but basically what this image depicts right here, guys, is you can see January 2020, this is where the market is now. Basically, what is that, 2 years, almost 3 years later, it's in the same exact spot. Oh, this was September, October 2022, so I don't know if these dates are quite right. It says 22 months, but so basically we've made zero progress these last couple of years. The market right now, I guess, is where it was back in January 2020, so I guess having said all of that, I still think that we're going to see it continue going down. I mean, inflation's still running hot. There's still problems with supply chain, and there's still a lot of withstanding issues that we've been having that I think we're not quite through yet. So I think that will put more pressure on the market. So, but yeah, as to like how much more it'll fall exactly, I don't know. As to when it will stop or when it will start again, I don't know that either. It's like I said, it's just always a mystery, and we're just along for the ride. So buckle up. Buckle up and keep buying. Let's see. Oh no, Chris. Let's get Ryan drunk. Careful what you wish for, my friend. Nah. I'll tell you what, you come to Vegas, I'll throw a few back with you. That'd be fun. Let's see. Kim Poi, what's going on, man? How you doing? Lucas wants to know, I know this is a dividend channel, but do you own any value stocks at all? If so, what? Maybe something you bought before you settled for dividend stocks. I mean, I think there's some dividend stocks that are at a great value. But no, every single stock that I own is a dividend stock. And yeah, that's how it's been for the last few years. And I've thought about maybe expanding beyond that, but I just, with my limited capital right now, I just want to make sure I'm maximizing this one strategy before I kind of steer from this course. Like, I really love being a dividend investor, and I feel like, I'm at a point where I'm starting to see the compounding really pick up. And, I just want to keep that going as much as I can and put, everything I have right now, which is not much, but put everything I have into this strategy because, it just being focused on this, I've seen it pay off. Oh, there he is. Oh, and there he goes. Oh my gosh. You guys see what I have to deal with here? This guy's crazy. Oh, Pokey DJ. Ryan, have you tried Cutwater? Dude, I love Cutwaters. They're just their regular margaritas, so freaking good. Love those. I'll tell you what. If I had half of one of those things, guys, Chris, like you'd see me on the floor over there. I'd be yeah, wouldn't be good. Um, let's see. But yeah, no, Lucas, I don't own any stocks that do not pay a dividend at this time. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Now we're getting to the good stuff, the FTX stuff. So Jay here says, I don't think they are responsible but deserve some criticism. Pat here says the big guy should be in jail, meaning what's his name? Sam something or other, the CEO, right? Kevin says FTX, what else will come out after their failure? How many others will they drag down with them? Yeah, that will be interesting. Will says, fair enough. Don't care about the FTX stuff. Outside of my interest in knowledge, yeah. Nelbert says, I do crypto, but it's too risky if you don't know how the market works, which I don't. Yeah. Lucas, SBF, okay, that's Sam, is going to jail with Elizabeth Holmes. Okay, Caitlin, this is... Sorry, guys. The fact that Sequoia Capital, of all people, failed to sniff out the dirt on FTX is troubling. Everybody expects a C-grade operator like SoftBank to get burned, but Sequoia? Oof. Oof. Harris, yep. With FTX, I think this is the scenario where Congress starts putting more regulation in place to protect consumers, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so that seems to be all the comments about FTX. So here's kind of my thoughts, like specifically as it pertains to the big creators talking about it, because they've been getting so much heat. Okay, Peanut, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, all right. This is just what we're gonna have to do for a minute. So. Obviously, they've been getting so much heat, right? Like, and there's been video after video after video coming out of the woodwork, just bashing on these guys for promoting, just making them seem like big criminals. And I get that, you watch these guys, you put your trust in them to promote good products. You don't want to get burned from it. But then I think there's this other side to it, like, with the millennial money thing, which if you guys are following this, you'll know what I'm talking about. That was kind of interesting. I didn't really understand that. That wasn't a good look. But I do think at the end of the day, obviously we're all adults here. We're making our own decisions. It was just kind of like last week we were talking about with Altria Group. Like, we all have the autonomy to make our own decisions. And okay, I know. And clearly with this FTX stuff, every time one of these creators made a video, and this was they were being paid to promote it, there's literally a sticker in the top left. Like, if you look at the YouTube video player in the top left, every single video includes paid promotion. So it's like, when watching that stuff, I think you watching this stuff and seeing those advertisements and whatnot, I think that certainly needs to be taken into account. And I do think some, not everyone is, there's not one party just in the wrong here, but I think that should definitely be taken into consideration when choosing to put your money in this thing, especially when it comes to crypto, which is a knowingly risky thing as it is. But yeah, I think when you're seeing these advertisements, you should just take them for what they are. Exactly that. It's pretty clear that these creators are being paid to say this stuff. And, I think you need to just, watch this with that lens on when thinking about putting your money in these things. And it's like, well, knowing that should raise some sort of, I don't know. I just think that you should take some sort of responsibility and not put it on these creators. And I know there's some people are, most people are, but at the same time, like I see these comments on some of these videos that are coming out, and there's a handful that are like, God, I put my kids' college tuition on in this platform. Took out a second mortgage to buy more crypto on FTX and all this stuff. And I'm like, really? Like, come on, like you got to do more due diligence there. Like you're literally doing all of that, and I don't know. That just seems kind of like too much blame, in my opinion, to put on the creators who are being paid to promote this stuff. But I don't know. I think when you're talking about, this was a good lesson for myself and other creators, I think, to learn, but from their mistake. When you're promoting any sort of financial product, I think it's a little bit like you got to just be, no matter what it is, you got to be a little bit more careful. If you're promoting something where people have to put their money into like that, then I don't know. I think you need to do a little bit more looking into it, beyond just how much you're getting paid for it. And because there's definitely some more risk attached to that versus promoting something like like a Seeking Alpha, where it's like you're not investing in it. You're just, paying for it like you would Netflix to research stocks, so it's different. But when it's something that you're asking people to put their money into and a place to store their money, it's like, that could be a touchy thing, man. If something goes wrong, like, get ready, so, but I don't know. I think those guys will carry on. They'll survive. They're getting the heat right now, though, that's for sure. And then another thing too, like, and this isn't necessarily a slight, but at the same time, like I'm seeing all these smaller creators coming out now, making videos about this FTX thing, still just ripping on the big guys. And to me, that leaves an equally bad taste in my mouth, because it's like, come on, it's so clear what you're trying to do. Like, it's just a ploy to get a cheap ploy to get views, or get views at these people's expense. And that leaves I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. Let's see. Anyway, that's my rant on the subject. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, the last thing with FTX, it does seem like there is maybe some questionable things going on behind the scenes there. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. But anyway. Yeah, and this is a good point from Phil too. Like, wasn't the whole point of crypto so that regulators and the government shouldn't be able to touch it, and now they want the government to intervene? Then what's the point of crypto? Yeah, I don't know. You guys with Peanut, oh my gosh, he's such a goofball. Yeah, Peanut's the reason we're all here. Peanut. Yeah, I mean, Kevin, like it's the buyer's responsibility to know. No different than buying gas at one place and driving 5 miles to see a better price. Yeah. Oh, nice, Nelbert. Almost 10 a.m. here in the Philippines, but let me still greet you guys. Good morning, my friend. Man, Nelbert, 10 a.m., you better crack yourself a cold one, man. It's time for the Dividend Happy Hour. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is a good point, Phil. I don't understand crypto. When a stock goes up and down, I'm able to have an idea on the why. But with crypto, I can't explain why it goes up or down other than the fact that it's a popularity. And that's one of the things that a lot of investors like us who invest in securities that are businesses, it's easier to assign value because we can assign a value to a stock based on the fundamentals, like what the business does and the financials and all the other tangibles and intangibles about the business. Like there's a way to quantify how much a business is worth per share. The same is not true with cryptos, right? Like it's not producing any sort of cash flows. It's not really anything besides just a digital thing, not representative of really anything tangible that you're just banking to go up in share price because, like you said, it's something that's popular. And so I think that's why it's hard for investors, a lot of investors like us here, to get behind it because, ultimately at the root of it, it does just seem kind of like a fad thing. So, I don't know. I guess best left out of our portfolios, at least for now. And I don't know. And then there's different ways they try and spin it too. Like, oh, well, it's a store of currency. Well, I don't know about that. Well, it's a hedge against inflation. Not necessarily. Oh, well, you can use it to transact. Well, not yet. I mean, yeah, definitely not yet. I mean, like how many? Yeah, no, not yet. So, really, what good is it? What purpose does it serve? I don't know. Haas here. I agree, Ryan, but they have hundreds of thousands of people watching their videos. Most people aren't as level-headed as you or most of your viewers. Yes. I guess so. And it's hard to individually show, like, make sure that everybody gets what you're saying because, and to be honest, like Haas, like a lot of this live stream I've been talking about, monthly dividend stocks don't matter, quarterly payments don't matter, it's all the same. But still, I guarantee like someone can watch this or will watch this, literally see the demonstration, the split test, the A/B test, showing the numbers where they're not the same, and still it's not gonna register. So, and I know it's kind of a band-aid for a bullet wound in this instance to say, well, this is not financial advice, you got to do your own due diligence. But it is true, like it's true, and okay, most people aren't as level-headed as the viewers here. I get that, and I don't think it's as much about. I don't know if level-headed's the right word, but well, maybe it's part of it. Common sense, I think, comes into play here a little bit too, and maybe this is something that seems to me more like common sense because I've been doing this for a little while now. Maybe it's mostly newer investors that are likely to fall victim to this. In which case, like I would say, I mean, number one, that's too bad. Hopefully you're not investing. Hopefully you don't start out having a ton of money to invest that you can potentially lose on this, because that's not great. So hopefully you're playing with a small amount of money that's not going to wreck you in the grand scheme of things. And if that's the case, then it's like, well, that's great. Like you've learned an important lesson, I think. But then like if these people aren't level-headed enough or experienced enough to for that to register for them, then it's like, well, they definitely shouldn't be investing in cryptos. Like, then that's definitely not like the most ideal place to start. I would say that's honestly, having said that, that might be, oh gosh, when it comes to like financial YouTube, like that might be one of the bigger beefs I have. And I'm not saying like anyone who talks about other things in dividend investing is wrong, but you definitely hear a lot of people soliciting like more risky investments that or styles of investing that toss, to your point, like these new people who are newer to investing probably have no business getting, like someone who's new to investing the first video they might watch, and this isn't their fault, or the creator's fault, but the first video they might watch on investing is options. Then right off the bat, they decide they're just going to start trading options because they see this one person making money. That's not a good way to go. It's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish there was a way to ensure that a lot of people coming to this platform, or everyone coming to this platform as a new investor looking for more information, is going to just be shown the right thing to start off with. Like, you got to walk before you can run. And I think dividend investing or investing in this way, even if it's just buying index funds or ETFs, it's like that's walking before you can run. Like, do that first, then maybe take the next step. Do that first, get your bearings, then maybe dip into some crypto a little bit if you want to take that step. But don't start on all the way over here and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Excuse me. That was disgusting. Let's see. Yeah, and it's like Bill says this here. You could not pay me enough to tell other people to invest in crypto, and just personally, just full transparency, I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time talking about. I'd have a hard time talking about any of these brokerages. Like, if it was like even Webull, I wouldn't really want to talk about or promote. Back in the day when I had Robinhood, I probably did the sign up with my using my link or whatever. I would promote Charles Schwab though. I'd feel good about that. But these other things like Moomoo or Webull or I guess Webull's not too bad, but you guys know what I'm saying. Some of these newer platforms that are not like legacy brokers, I'd have a hard time talking about them. Yeah, it's different, and it's just different. Let's see here. All right, guys, 5 more minutes. Wow, this went by pretty quick. So Haas, you ever played a power hour before, Ryan? What is that? I have not. I don't think I've heard of that. Let's see. Okay. Ryan, one thing about YouTubers or anyone talking about investing in social media platforms are influencers. So if the person isn't level-headed, knowledgeable, and so on, they will listen. Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, and this is a good point too. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've watched a finance YouTube vid and seen info that is just wrong or deliberately incomplete. Very predatory space in my opinion. And I guarantee I've been wrong on a handful of things. I'm probably wrong quite often in my videos, or I'm probably wrong quite often, but at the same time, like, I try and position myself with this stuff to not be someone who's knows everything about investing or dividend investing, because I don't. I've only been doing it for a few years. And so I try and position myself as that. Just keep it real with you guys. Like, I'm learning as I go. I'm learning it along the way, and just, showing what I'm learning, which over time will, as I learn more, changes my perspective on things. And that's just part of, I guess that's just part of the journey, right? Like it'd be worse if I was wrong about something and then, or said something and then that wasn't correct, and then months later, just because I didn't want to, backtrack on something I said previously, just continue saying the same thing, knowing it's wrong. I think it's important to be able to know where you're wrong or know and where you don't have all the information, and presenting that. It's human and normal to be wrong by accident. Big difference from selling wrong info to clickbait or drive hype. Yeah. I saw, just regarding the big creators, I saw someone, I think it was on the in the Discord group, which link in the description if you guys want to join the Discord. Someone was making fun of making fun of Graham and Andre for the thumbnails that were like, you know what I mean? Where it's like just holding the face with one hand and whatever, Someone was giving them a hard time about that because it's in everything. But man, they got to do what they got to do to get those clicks, get that click-through rate up. Very interesting. But yeah, I'm sure those guys, like I said, they're definitely getting some heat right now. If you go into the comment section, it's all just ripping them to shreds. But I'm sure that'll, in a couple weeks or in a few weeks, this will they'll get through it and it'll be back to normal. But people right now are like, man, you're not even going to talk about deleting the videos. You're not even going to talk about this. Like, man, that's a bold move. Anyway, the fact of the matter is unlicensed. Yeah. And Bill says, Ryan, being aware of what you don't know is invaluable knowledge. You remember what Donald Rumsfeld said about the unknown. Yes, sir, I did. And I'll tell you what, guys, that's why I'm reading like 700-page books like this, House of Morgan, to learn more about, I don't know, how the world works and how it did work and how it came to be where it is today, and see what that can teach me about the companies I'm looking at. So anyway, but yeah, that's a good point. Like with this stuff, like with investing, guys, and you know this already, like you're a constant student of the game. It's a constant work in progress. There's always things to learn, which, I think makes it fun. Like half the fun is learning new things about investing and really looking into into new companies and uncovering new things and thinking about where, what these companies' place in the world has been, what they do, and what it's going to look like moving forward. Obviously, it's like you can't predict it for certain, but it's fun to think about, and I think over time, like it can, help you get a better understanding of like just how the world works in general. So, yeah, I don't know. In general, I'm super fortunate to be able to talk about this stuff with you guys, and it still just blows my mind, or it's still surreal to me that I'm like talking about this stuff, making videos, and there's actually like 100 of you that come hang out here every Friday night to listen to me just speak this gibberish. So anyway, I guess having said that, thank you guys all for the support on the videos. And I know it's 6 o'clock, but Kevin, I want to get to this question because I did see it earlier in the chat, and I'm sorry I didn't get to answer it. NYCB, he wants to know about it, which I've never heard of this stock, but one time we'll go take a look at it one time for our man Kevin. NYCB, New York Community Bancorp. Okay, so we're going to start off here on the financials page. So the total revenues, yeah, I mean, overall across the last 10 years, pretty flat, Kevin, pretty flat, but they've made some strides 2019 to now. So let's continue scrolling down, see what's happening in the dividend department. And I got to say, I don't like this either. The dividends per share, not really doing anything, okay? It's gone down. And the shares outstanding has increased as well, which is actually, I feel like, pretty atypical of banks. This is a bank, right? Bancorp. So, without even looking further, I've got to say, like, Thrifts and Mortgage Finance, a bank holding company for New York Community Bank. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, there might be better options out there. And it's like, well, okay. The dividend stats, high yield, but outside of that, there's really nothing to like about it, I don't think, in terms of dividend growth or history. And like we saw in the income statement and the supplemental items a second ago, it's like, well, the last 10 years, they're paying less in dividends. So that's definitely not a good sign. I would stay away from it personally, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I see you guys have some nice words here at the end here. I like Russ and Ryan's channel because they're clear. They're learning with us. Wallet Invest, great channel, Ryan. Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. I mean, I really appreciate all of you guys, and I think this is a good place to wrap up the Dividend Happy Hour. But that's just in closing, just kind of tying all this together. That's, I wish, yeah, I don't ever want to, like, I'll try never to come off as a sort of know-it-all with this stuff because I don't. But yeah, that's kind of my goal with this channel. Kind of like you said, Will. Like I'm learning right along with you guys, and it's interesting too. Like the information I think I'm sharing in my videos is different, different today than it was this time last year, and it's different. It was different last year than it was 2 years ago, and I'm sure next year it'll be different than where it is today, just based on the evolution of what I'm learning. You know what I mean? So. And I think that's natural and it's good. So anyway, yeah, that's about all I got for you guys. But I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in with me this last hour. If you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more stuff from me. And, also, I cannot believe I've been sitting on this whole live stream, guys. Tomorrow morning, I don't usually post videos on Saturdays, but tomorrow morning, I'm going to be putting out a special video for you guys. So earlier this week, I had the opportunity to chat with Ari Gutman, who many of you probably know. His channel was formerly known as Blue Lion Finance. Great dude. We had a really fun conversation, ended up chatting for about 45 minutes or an hour. And I'm going to be just releasing that conversation tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. which is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern, just the normal time I post my videos. So you guys are getting a video from me tomorrow morning. You're also getting a video from me on Sunday morning. So stay tuned for that. Some good stuff coming your guys' way. And once again, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.